advancement?
Your Honor, we weren't able to come up with an agreement. Both parties want the same right to establish the primary residency of the child. And one lives in San Antonio, one lives in Webb County.
Who lives in San Antonio?
Miss Rangel.
Mr. Villasana lives in Webb County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where does, how many children or child before the
Just
child
one,
children?
just one, Your Honor. Juliet Villasana.
And she is how old?
She is she just turned
She turned 6.
6, Your Honor. 2020 is from
Mr. Villasana, Ms. Rangel, raise your right hands. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide in this case will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Both have answered yes. Mr. Villasana, is your true and correct name Julio Cesar Villasana?
Yes, Your Honor.
You heard the factual background that your lawyer told the court. He said that you live in Webb County, Ms. Rangel lives in San Antonio, you have one child with her, and she is a 6-year-old female. Is that all true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same questions to you, Ms. Rangel. Is your true and correct name Joanna Elizabeth Rangel?
Yes, Your Honor.
You heard the factual background told to the court by Mr. Montemayor, Mr. Villasana's lawyer. He says Mr. Villasana lives in Webb County, you live in San Antonio, you have one child with Mr. Villasana, one 6-year-old daughter. Is that true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Factual background established. Mr. Montemayor, who is your first witness?
Your Honor, I'll call Julio Villasana.
You are under oath, Mr. Villasana. Listen to your lawyer's questions. Mr. Montemayor, go ahead.
All right. Mr. Villasana, could you please state your full name for the record?
Julio Cesar Villasana.
Mr. Villasana, how old are you, sir?
I am 26.
And you reside in Webb County, Texas?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been residing in Laredo, Webb County, Texas?
My 26 years.
What is your address, sir?
Can you repeat that?
What is your current address?
5530 Buffalo Lane.
5530 Buffalo Lane. And who lives with you in that house?
Just my partner and my daughter when I have her, due to my work.
Okay. And how long have you lived at this address?
I got there January 22nd.
Of this year, sir?
Yes, this year.
And where did you live before that?
I was residing at my mom's house.
Okay. And prior to that, you lived with Joanna Rangel?
Yes.
And together you had one daughter, Juliet Mandy Villasana. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And how are you employed, Mr. Villasana?
I work for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a correctional officer.
Okay. And where do you work?
I work at Dilley, Texas.
As a correctional officer?
Yes.
How long have you been working as a correctional officer?
6 years and a half.
Since you were 20, more or less?
Yes, since I was 20.
And what are your duties there as a correctional officer?
Provide security between inmates.
Okay. And how much do you earn there, sir?
Before pay, I don't know the exact numbers. It's like 5,000 something. After taxes and everything, it's 3,600 flat.
So would you estimate you make roughly about between $60,000 to $70,000 a year?
Yes, around 60.
Okay. And so Juliet is currently living with you. Is that correct?
Yes.
The court had a hearing in January 13th, 2026. You recall that?
Yes.
And the court ordered that your daughter reside with you.
Mm-hmm.
And does she have her own bedroom there at your house?
Yes.
And does she have her own bed and her own bathroom facilities?
Yes, she does.
Does she have her own clothing and her own I guess, toys and things that she plays with?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any other children living in your home?
No.
Does she go to school, sir?
Yes, she does.
What school is she currently attending?
She's in Prada Elementary.
And she's been going to Prada since when, sir?
January, late December, January, whenever I kept her custody.
Okay. So you've had her in your possession since December. The court had a hearing in January. Since you got her in your possession, she's been attending Prada Elementary.
Yes.
What grade is she in, sir?
Kinder.
And how has she been performing at school?
And she's been doing great.
Is she stable there? Any issues there that you've been notified about?
No issues whatsoever. She's been really stable and really good there.
How are her grades, sir?
They're good. A and B's.
Okay. All right. Now, what about her medical situation? When you first got her, you had testified in a prior hearing that you had taken her to a novelty behavioral health.
Mhm.
How is that going, sir?
She's doing way better. She does have anxiety. She hasn't been showing it as often. And also she's gained back her weight as how she used to be.
What do you mean by that, sir?
She has my daughter has lost weight over time, and once I had her like in my position, she's been gaining her weight back. I believe she went up 8 pounds.
When
Or-
you say that, did the doctor? Well, when you say that she has anxiety, what was she displaying? What kind of characters and personalities was she displaying, sir?
She would fidget a lot with her fingers. At nights, she will have a sort of trauma where she wakes up fighting and crying, and that has lowered ever since I had her in my possession.
Okay. Do you have her on your health insurance?
Yes, I do.
And who is your health insurance carrier, sir?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Okay. Um, do you communicate? Does your daughter have communication with her mother, Joanna Rangel?
Yes, she does.
How often, sir, does she communicate with Joanna?
Most of the time, I mean, daily, whenever she calls, whenever Joanna.
Buckle up, guys. Today we are stepping into the opening moments of a custody battle already charged with tension. The court is informed that both parties failed to reach any agreement on the primary residency of their 6-year-old child. Immediately, the divide is clear. One parent in San Antonio, the other in Webb County, creating distance and conflict. The judge begins establishing basic facts about the child and the parents, reducing the case to its essential dispute. What looks procedural is critical groundwork for a custody fight where every detail will matter. From this moment, both sides are formally locked into a legal battle over the child's future.
calls.
Okay. You were ordered in January. You were ordered. Both of you were ordered to communicate via app close. And do y'all do that?
Yes, we still do.
And that's just through text messages or
And phone calls. Yeah, calls as well.
does she have access to video communication as well with your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Is she communicating presently with your daughter? I believe it was video conference by 7 p.m. every day.
Yes.
She does?
Yes, she calls
Okay.
at that time, most of the time.
All right. Now, what about the visitation with her mother, the exchanges? How is that going?
It's been going good.
Where do you exchange where do you exchange your daughter with her at?
Sometimes in text best at Dilly, and when my mom goes to San Antonio, they meet at the 140 mile.
Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. So what kind of shifts do you have at your work?
I work night shift. It's from 6 to 6, yet I have to be there before 5:30 for the turnout meeting that we have daily. So I wake up around 3:30 and leave Laredo most at 4. Before
All
4. Mhm.
And how many days a week do you work?
It rotates. I work 4 days on and 4 days off.
Okay. And so when you're not well, let me ask you this. Does your daughter know your mother?
Yes.
They've spent substantial time together, is that correct?
Yes. She grew up with it.
And so does your daughter, in your opinion, does your daughter trust your mother?
Yes.
And so
More
when
than
you're not when you're not available, sir, what who takes care of your daughter?
Her grandmother, my mom.
Your mom. Okay. All right. So you're asking that the court award you the right to designate the residence of your daughter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you feel that it is in the best interest of Juliet that she continue to reside here in Laredo, Webb County, Texas. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is it safe to say that you feel she's got a stable home environment here in Laredo, Webb County?
Yes, she does.
Is it safe to say that she has a very safe and adequate educational foundation at Prada Elementary, sir?
That's correct.
And do you think that your daughter Juliet feels safe now in your possession and custody?
Yes, that's correct.
And again, I think I've asked you. You feel that this is in the best interest of your daughter.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you about Joanna. I know that we had a long hearing back in January. There was testimony that Joanna and you had been together how long, sir?
I want to say 5 years, more or less.
5 years. And y'all were living together, is that correct?
Yes.
Where were y'all living together at?
Yeah, it just was 6115 Monaguillo Drive.
That was here in Laredo, Webb County, Texas.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Joanna, after 5 years, was Joanna working here in Laredo, Webb County, Texas?
Yes, she was working at HEB.
At HEB. And I guess to summarize it, she basically left one day and never
Mhm.
came back to Laredo. Is that correct?
Yeah, she left on a Friday, telling me that she was coming following day. She came till Monday morning.
Okay. And you don't know where she was living?
She said she was with her mom.
Okay. But you don't know the address. You didn't
I
find
didn't
all
know.
this information out until later. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so she took your daughter with her, was staying at some random home in San Antonio, Texas. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. How long did it take you before you were able to get visitation with your daughter after she left to San Antonio?
It took me a month, more or less. Yeah.
All right. And would she agree to do this voluntarily, or did you have to file an action in court to get this done?
I had to file an action in court.
Okay. Now, I think at the last hearing, you testified that she was living with random people at this home that she was staying at with her mother. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There were not only Joanna, not only your daughter, not only her mother, but there were other individuals there, boyfriends of everybody was staying at this home as well.
Yes.
All right. You didn't know where she was going to school. You didn't know what address she had. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And it wasn't until the hearing in January that you were able to find out exactly where she was living at now.
That's correct.
Okay. And you found out again in this prior hearing that she was residing with some other individual now, correct? Another partner of hers.
Correct.
Okay. And before that, she also had another partner named Brian. Is that correct? Brian Alvarez.
That's correct.
And then now she was with another individual named Gilberto Perez. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And this Gilberto Perez, to your knowledge, had some kind of criminal history. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so, do you know what kind of medical care or treatment your daughter was getting in San Antonio, sir?
No.
Do you know if her health or safety or welfare was at risk by continuing to live with Joanna? Did you hear me, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Do you feel that her safety and welfare was at risk if she continued to live with her mother?
That's correct.
Why, sir?
Well, I don't think she was having a proper care. There's many stuff. Like that time that she had, she gave my daughter back to us when we were picking her up, and she had no underwears. There's times where she wasn't having any footwear whatsoever. She will always come home with, I guess, like with a runny nose, not knowing if she had any allergies or whatnot.
All right, guys, the focus shifts to the father as the court begins building his credibility through stability and structure. He confirms his identity, age, and long-term residence in Webb County, establishing deep local roots. The courtroom learns he works as a correctional officer, a demanding role tied to discipline and security. His income is steady, around $60,000 annually, reinforcing financial reliability. These details are crucial because custody cases heavily weigh consistency and economic stability. At this stage, the father is positioning himself as a dependable and structured custodial figure.
Now that she's with me, that's gone. All that kind of runny nose or flu she ever had over there is well taken care of over here.
The anxiety is
The anxiety, we had to work with it little by little, but it's getting better.
all right. All right. Do you believe that if Juliet goes back to her mother, that there could be a disruption in her with her anxiety and her peace of mind?
Yes.
But she's currently visiting with her right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how does she act when she comes back to you after her visitations?
Well, there's times where she seems worried, but for the most part, I think she's done better. She knows, and she tells me not to worry about her. It's just 2 days. I'll be back shortly, in Spanish, of course.
All right. So you're asking you're asking the court to name you as the managing conservator, the one with the right to determine the primary residency. That's correct.
That's correct.
You're asking that the court continue to the status right now is that Joanna visits how often?
Every first, third, and fifth weekend.
On Friday at 6 o'clock?
Yes, Friday to 6 p.m. and all the way to Sunday, 6 p.m.
And you meet halfway in Dilley, Texas, or
Right.
your mother takes her to San Antonio.
In case she goes over there, yeah.
Okay. And so you're asking for that to continue.
Yes.
Okay. Are you asking, you're not asking for any child support, is that correct? Right now?
I'm not asking for any child support. I just want her mental health and stability.
And you're asking that, and you're willing to continue paying the health insurance for Juliet.
Yes.
Okay. And you're also asking that whatever is not covered by health insurance, that you and Joanna be ordered to pay half and half.
Correct.
Are you asking the court to continue with the communication via app close, sir?
Yes, that will work.
And you're asking that the same orders that were in place in January continue as they were ordered to do back then, as they were ordered back then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know what Joanna does nowadays? Is she working? Do you know?
No.
Do you know if she's had another child? Is that correct? That you know of?
She has had another child.
Yes. With this Gilberto Perez.
Right.
All right. Is your daughter currently in any, suffered from any serious medical conditions while she's been under your care?
No, she's been good.
Do you know if Joanna was able to meet with the medical professionals when she was she was evaluated in January?
Can you repeat that question again, sir?
Was Joanna ever did she ever meet with any of the medical professionals
No,
that evaluated your daughter?
no, but I did tell her, so she's aware of it.
Okay. What was it that you told her, sir?
Told her, well, her health issues at this point, right? How she will act, and also that I have taken it to a psychiatrist that she got referred by her doctor at that time, Norberto Alvarez.
Okay. All right. And you don't know if she ever was able to communicate with any of them?
No,
Okay. Your Honor, I'll pass the witness, sir.
Ms. Rangel, do you have any questions for Mr. Villasana? Please unmute your device.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Okay. Julio, are you aware our daughter takes 2 snacks to school to try to make friends?
yes, I do.
Okay. And are you aware that our daughter was being bullied by a 10-year-old at her school?
No,
Okay. And then, did you follow up with her psychiatrist medication?
I'm not giving her any medication at the moment. She's done better.
Okay.
I don't see there's a need to.
Okay. Did you continue taking her to her psychologist therapies?
I've taken her to after a psychiatrist, I've taken her to a psychologist. Yes.
Okay. Did you follow up with those psychologist therapies?
Not at the moment.
And can you remind me why does her daughter take melatonin at night, please?
She struggles to sleep.
And up to this day, she still struggles to sleep?
Not really. She's done better.
Okay. And then, and you don't remember the night I left, right? After you were being um abusive towards me. You don't remember the night.
Yes, left.
So you don't remember hitting any walls in this residency where we used to live at 6115 Monaguillo Drive?
No.
Objection's been asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay. And then, you don't remember changing the appointments to her psychiatrist last minute, preventing me from going to see her?
Preventing you from going to see her. No.
Okay. And then, do you remember, I'm sorry, do you remember that day behind the Whataburger?
No.
You don't remember being abusive towards me behind that Whataburger?
Objection's been asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
And then, let's see. Mm, Is Juliet staying with you daily?
No, I work night shift.
Okay.
My mom takes care of her when I work.
Does Juliet spends more day at her grandma's house than yours?
It's even. I work 4 days on, 4 days off.
Okay. And on April 14, your first day off, did you pick her up or drop her off at school?
No, my mom did me that favor.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. And then,
Now the testimony turns directly to the child's living conditions under the father's care. He confirms she is living with him under a prior court order granting temporary custody. The child has her own bedroom, bed, and belongings, showing stability and routine in daily life. School performance is strong at Prada Elementary, with no behavioral issues reported. Grades are consistently A's and B's, reinforcing academic stability and normal development. Altogether, this segment builds a strong picture of a structured and supportive home environment.
for spring break vacation, did you follow the standard possession order?
Which was?
Since she's residing with you, she was supposed to come with me for spring break.
I didn't have her last spring break, so I had her.
You kept her.
Yes, I kept her.
Mm, and then- do you think your work schedule doesn't allow you to be with our daughter?
It does allow me to be with my daughter on my days off. I work night shift.
Okay. And there are 12-hour shifts, correct? With a 3-hour drive in total?
Mm, yes, 2 hour drive. Yes.
Okay, and I think those are gonna be my questions. Hmm, I'm done, Your Honor.
Anything on cross-examination, Mr. Montemayor?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I don't have any recross, or I don't have any direct for my client. I'll call Joanna Rahel.
All right, on direct, go ahead.
Ma'am, what's your full name?
Joanna Elizabeth Rangel.
And how old are you, ma'am?
I'm 25.
25 years old. And you currently reside at 4903, was it Warhorse Drive?
No, I gave my new address to Julio, which is 12436 Vance Jackson Road.
Vance Jackson.
Mhm.
And you live with Gilberto Perez, that's correct?
Yes, my husband.
Yes. And you and Gilberto Perez have been together how long now?
For a year. So, a year and 4 months or 3 months.
And so before the hearings in January or in December, Juliet, your daughter that you have with Julio, lived with you in Gilberto Perez.
Back in December, no.
In December, before the hearings that we had here, that we're here now on again, your daughter resided with you in Gilberto.
With me and my mom.
Okay,
Back in December.
in December 2025, with you and your mom?
Oh, December 2025, yes. Yes.
Okay. And so, did you ever speak to Dr. Alvarez from the Novelty Behavior Health of Laredo?
I did try calling his office once, but I wasn't able to reach out to him. It was through to her assistant.
Did Julio ever talk to you about what Dr. Alvarez had indicated?
Yes.
Okay. Did Julio tell you that that some of the anxiety that your daughter felt may have been triggered by your husband, Gilberto Perez?
No,
You were not aware of that?
no, he mentioned that it was because of me, not because of my husband in the beginning.
Now, did they ever tell you that there may have been an outcry by your daughter of some inappropriate touching by Gilberto Perez?
He never mentioned it, just to today when we were trying to make the agreement, he mentioned that.
And so you never actually followed up with Dr. Alvarez. You questioned Julio about it, but you never actually followed up with the doctor yourself.
Not with Alvarez, but with the psychiatrist. It was first the psychiatrist, then the psychologist.
Okay. Do you believe it's important, ma'am, that your daughter have a stable home environment
Yes, I do.
and that she be not exposed to perhaps, dangerous situations or, strangers? You believe that that's proper, that she be protected that way?
Yes.
Okay. So why is it that when you moved over there in San Antonio, you lived not only with your mother, but with at least what I count 6 to 8 different people? Your daughter didn't have her own room, didn't have her own place to sleep, and just had random people coming in and out. Why is it that situation occurred? If you think that, your daughter should be protected and have a stable home environment.
I don't know where they get that from, because we did have our own room here. It was my mom, her husband, and my siblings living here. CPS came, he confirmed that there was nobody else in the house. They ruled out the cases when he was making allegations against me. We had wellness checks too.
Here the tone shifts more emotional as the father discusses the child's health and psychological condition. He describes earlier signs of anxiety, including frequent fidgeting and nervous behaviors. More serious concerns include night terrors and noticeable weight loss before coming into his care. Since living with him, he claims clear improvement in both physical and emotional well-being. Medical care and insurance access are also confirmed through structured treatment and monitoring. This section strongly supports the argument that the child is stabilizing under his custody.
Checks that he was doing, we had like 3 or 4 of them. Some at midnight, some during the day.
Why do you say that he was doing it? Do you have a report that says his name on it, that he was the one calling?
Yeah, he would tell me. He'll be like, they would tell me also from his behalf.
Okay. So what do you do for a living, ma'am?
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. So you don't work?
No.
Okay. And have you gone and checked on Juliet's grades and her performance at school?
Yes, I have.
And you would agree that she's doing good?
Yes, with the grades, yes.
Yeah, that she's a smart child and she's doing.
Yes.
Okay. And do you agree that she's gained weight now and a lot of her anxiety has gone away?
She did gain weight. Her anxiety, I still notice her cryings here. Before I wouldn't notice them, but lately I've been noticing her wanting for me to be always with her. Regarding going to the restroom or showering, she wants me there. Sleeping with her, also she wants me there with her, and I do that. Stay with her.
Could that be because she's afraid of Gilberto Perez?
No.
That's why she wants you near and needs to feel safe when she's with you, because she's afraid of Gilberto Perez?
No, she's not afraid. She actually calls him papi too, and every time she sees him, she goes running up to him. I have pictures and everything. She likes to be carried by him, and she likes to be around. She feels very comfortable being around him.
Okay. Let me ask you this, ma'am. You have communication with Juliet every day?
Yes, I do.
And you've got access to video conferencing as well with her?
Yes, I do.
And you've been pretty good about exercising your visitation and meeting up in Dili or meeting in San Antonio. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree that Juliet knows her grandmother? In fact, grew up some years with her grandmother,
Yes.
and so her grandmother's no stranger. So if Julio's unavailable and then she stays with her grandmother, it's not going to be a shock to her. She has a good relationship with her grandmother.
Yes, I agree. She's
Okay.
safe.
And so, do you also agree that that you've not been paying any child support in the last several months, correct?
Correct.
Now, would you agree that if this court were to grant Julio the right to determine the residency of Juliet, uh, are you okay with not paying Julio any child support?
Yes.
Are you also in agreement that Julio continue to provide the health insurance for Juliet?
Yes.
And you're also in agreement that if the court were to grant Julio the right to determine the residency and Julio continues to provide the health insurance, that anything that's not covered by that health insurance be split equally between you and Julio.
Yes.
All right. And so you're good. You've got a pretty good you've got a pretty good visitation schedule. The first, third, and fifth weekends from Friday to Sunday.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Did you have a good visitation schedule? Is that correct? You're currently visiting okay with Juliet.
Yeah, of course I would like more time. She's my daughter, but
Sure.
yeah, currently we're
But that's
being
something we
able
can work on. We can always work on more time. How old is your child now?
She just turned a month on the 14th.
1 month. Okay. And now, do you think it's in the best interest of Juliet, Joanna, that she have a stable home environment?
Yes.
Do you think it's in her best interest that she have a stable school environment?
For the school, I'm a little concerned for those extra snacks that she's taking and the 10-year-old.
Okay. But do you think it's important? That's not what I asked you. I asked you, do you think it's important that she have a stable school environment?
Oh, yes.
And so, and and so you've testified that you think she's doing good at school and you think that she's got a good home here in Laredo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
This is your opportunity, Ms. Rangel, to tell the court anything you'd like. What would you like the court to know?
Yes, Your Honor. During the father's parenting time, our daughter is not primarily in his care. She's staying with her grandma most of the week due to his work schedule. I respect that he works. This means he's not consistently available to meet her day-to-day needs. When I am available and willing to provide that stability and direct care for her. And I believe it's in the best interest of our daughter to be with a parent who can be present. And then I can provide that direct consistency care, and that's better for our daughter, in my opinion. I do agree that she is safe with her grandma, but the issue is not safety, it's consistency and parental involvement. I believe our daughter benefits more when the parent is present, especially with those anxiety and that she has. There's nothing wrong with her helping, Your Honor, the grandma. Like, I really appreciate that support from her. My concern is that's happening on a regular basis during most of his parenting time, and when I'm available to provide that care myself for her. And also him being almost 12, 13, 14, almost 14 to 15 hours away from her makes me be a little worried because if case of any emergency, I know the grandma will be there, but again, the grandma also has a teenage boy that she has to take care of.
What else, if anything, would you like the court to know?
The stability, I think how is it stability for her? She went from 2 houses now to 3. It's his grandma's house, my house, and his house now. So she's moving around too much over there in Laredo too. That's my damn concern. And what else? Yeah, it's mainly that he's in daily 12-hour shifts, an hour and a half driving. That's what I'm concerned of. Then I had given him our daughter's Medicaid, so we can do the sessions without having to spend money out of pocket. But I don't think we follow up with that since her psychologists are here in San Antonio. Like that accept that insurance. The ones in Laredo don't accept the Medicaid insurance from the psychologist, so we can continue her therapies over here without a problem. Her doctors are here too. Well, they used to be here when she was here. It was Alamanoy Pediatrics. She can continue having regular visits so we can keep track on her weight so she doesn't lose any weight. What else? My husband, he did had a criminal record, but it was back in 2020. It was about evading arrest detention with a vehicle, but there was no drugs, nothing involved. Like it was just him running away from the cops.
The courtroom now focuses on communication and visitation between the child and her mother. Despite custody separation, the father confirms daily communication through calls. A court-ordered communication app ensures structured and traceable contact between both parents. Video calls are scheduled regularly, maintaining visual interaction with the child. Physical exchanges require coordination between cities at designated meeting points. Even with separation, the system is designed to maintain controlled parental involvement.
But he did everything to get it out of his, like, not his record, but he did everything. There's no concerns on that. And he's a good dad. He has a daughter too in McAllen. He does visit her and everything. She comes. Juliet spends time with them too. So I don't think the problem is with him. I think it's Juliet mainly like being around houses too much. That's what making her anxiety. And of course I believe that her not having her dad there all the time too, maybe that's why she wants me to be there, taking her to the restroom, taking her to the shower, sleeping with her. I feel like she needs that parent to be there with her so she could feel more protected. And since I don't work, I can provide direct consistency care and be there for her, present. Since I don't work too, I can be in the house with my two daughters. I will pick her up and drop her off from school when she was here, every day. And I know over there she has to be the grandma some days, the dad some days. It's just too much switching on over there.
All right, Mr. Montemayor, anything in redirect?
No, Your Honor, just argument.
All right, so Mr. Montemayor, Mr. Angel, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to make your closing statements. What you need to tell the court is, tell the court what you want the court to do, and remind the court what the court heard in evidence and testimony to support those requests. Mr. Montemayor, go ahead.
Your Honor, we're asking that the court name the parties joint managing conservators and that the court name Julio Villasana as the party to designate the primary residence of his daughter, Juliet Mandy Villasana. The court heard the testimony from Mr. Villasana, and the court, and I'll remind the court what the testimony was back in January. But basically, Mr. Villasana has, stable employment, has been working for over 5 years with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a detention officer. He makes a very good, handsome salary between $60,000 to $70,000. He's got a stable home. He lives with his partner, and Juliet is the only person the only child in the house that has her own room, has her own access to entertainment, has her own access to her facilities, and it's very safe and stable. Even Ms. Rangel agreed that she has a stable home environment and that Julio has very stable employment. Mr. Villasana provides for her medical needs, her home, her medical insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield through the state of Texas. He provides the access to the schooling with Prada Elementary. She's a kindergarten student. Has he moved? He was living with Miss Angel up until she suddenly managed to walk away and disappear. According to her, there was an abusive relationship, but there is not a single report, not a single arrest. Mr. Villasana has a record of with no arrest, which I can't say the same about her current partner. But he sold that house. He paid off the debt that Joanna left, and lived with his mother until he was able to get back on his feet and get the house where he lives at now. This is not a situation where he's jumping from home to home to home. I know, because he's either trying to escape from something or he can't afford anything, and so he's basically going through the phases of reestablishing his home environment, his stability there, because they were together for 5 years. And so, I'll remind the court the testimony that the court heard in January now, when Miss Angel left in November 2024, she left without any notice. She left without leaving a contact or communication. She had blocked Julio out. There was no access. It wasn't until a month later that he was able to actually see and speak to his daughter again. At this home that they first went to, talk about jumping around. She was living with her mother first, in a house where her mother's boyfriend lived, her sister's boyfriend lived. They had workers going in and out of the house. Her other boyfriend, Brian Alvarez, was living there. And then she met some other guy named Gilberto Perez, and moved to 4903 Warhorse, and now lives at 12436 Vance Jackson Road. That's three different residences. So if she wants to make that claim that Julio is moving around, she's pretty much guilty of the same thing. At the end of the day, Judge, what stands out to me is this: she's not concerned about her daughter's health or welfare. The psychological issue, the evaluations that we have testified about in January and now indicate that Juliet felt some anxiety towards her mother's new husband. And I think that what Ms. Rangel testified to, as far as her daughter's reaction when she is with her, is indicative of somebody who does not want to be left alone. Is indicative of somebody who's scared, who needs that constant, be right here, be next to me. I understand children, get scared, but sometimes, but I think from what I gathered, doing the math, what the doctors indicated is that she expressed some anxiety towards this gentleman, and so going back to where this person is present, can create again some type of anxiety, some fear, and I think this is a response to that kind of stress. This little girl has a very stable school environment. There's some indications of bullying. I don't know. I know children go through different factors, but even Ms. Angel agreed that she's got a very good school environment here. She's healthy. She has gained her weight. There is she even has doctors for her that have some apparently some psychological training in San Antonio. So Juliet has been acting out, apparently, even when she was under Ms. Angel's custody. I think Mr. Villasana can provide a stable home environment, a safe home environment, a healthy home environment for his daughter. I believe the visitation is adequate here. First, third, and fifth weekends, he's driving, or his mother is driving the child to drop off, and Mr. Angel has access. He's not asking for any child support. He'll continue to provide the health insurance, and I think this is in the best interest of his daughter, that she continue to thrive as a child, which she's apparently doing now. And so we don't want to deny Ms. Angel any access. We've even there's been access through the app close, through the video, conferencing. And so there's that relationship that Mr. Villaseña is encouraging. And so I asked the court to continue with what is there already, continue the current conservatorship, the current primary residency.
Tension rises as the father describes past instability surrounding the mother's living situation. He testifies she left suddenly with the child, relocating without clear communication. For a period, her exact residence and conditions were unknown, creating uncertainty. He further mentions multiple partners and shifting household environments during that time. These claims are used to question the stability and safety of the child's surroundings. This becomes a major turning point in arguing potential risk in the mother's custody.